I've worked in the private sector for a year. Don't tell anyone. So much job stability. That's so nice. Yeah, it was nice, but because I did it straight after being like, I need a break. I'm gonna make money for a year. So I got a 9 to 5. I was working in Denmark, in Copenhagen. And it was a proper private company, like it was proper for profit. And I went in there expecting everyone to be hateful, which is so self-righteous. Everyone was not hateful. It was really good. It was a pretty good working environment. I think the biggest difference is that it just felt more stable, but also meaningless. Like, it's like, cool, I'm making money for the company, where actually it was also, it was in a wider like tourism industry. Like, it wasn't, like, you weren't working with tourists, but it was in a wider, it had to do with that. So it's like, cool, and you're destroying the planet. Great. So I think one of it was like, it was good. I had, I saved for my pensions. I got like some like job benefits. I had a good salary that enabled me to save some money up to do a master's degree. But it was still, I don't know, it was pretty meaningless to me. But yeah, so I think more stability, less meaning, at least for me. Ultimately, it's not the things that I look at. I don't know, it's difficult because, for example, I am usually very involved in climate actions or like climate justice or social justice. So, and it's true that in terms of climate action, you have private foundations that do things about it. Some of them are even like specialized in it. But I don't know, man. And maybe it is something that is moral to do with it, that I still struggle to think that, you can make a positive difference while still working for profit. And I think that might be, to be honest, just a cognitive bias. Maybe some people are able to accept that and I'm not, and maybe I will change my mind. But I'm very much identified with the key sort of element. Like, I just have a little of a level of distrust towards it, because so many of the things that you try to solve come from a thinking of trying to make a profit. Anyway, and I also don't fully buy into the whole like effective altruism of, as long as you make a bunch of money and then you donate it to charity, you're fine. No, because by making the bunch of money, you might still be contributing to some kind of inequalities. So maybe, but more on the no side for the private sector for now, I think. So, but personally, I think it would be hard for me to say positively there is a difference in like who works in the private sector and who works in the public sector, because I feel like there would be a judgment of value saying that there would be a kind of hierarchy, like morally that feels weird. And in terms of experience, I don't know, people didn't, well, no, it is true that when I was working in the private sector, for me, it was, I know we talked about, yes, things besides meaning making, but when meaning making is important to you, like making a difference, and you sit down during lunch and you just talk about your weekend, like, it's weird. It feels like what are we doing here? Like, I think that was the biggest thing for me, is like, at the end of the day, these are all lovely people, and like, I'm friends with some of them still, but there just is something lacking. Like, there's not the same sense of like connection that I felt to the people that I was working with in a private sector. Okay, it's more depressing, but in the third sector, you'd be like, wow, I just had to deal with this particular case, and I heard about this kid, having, I don't know, her mother died, blah, blah. Like, this person just relapsed. What are we going to do? What's the action plan? Like, all of that. And in a way, it's kind of like, oh man, work never stops. But also, by sharing with people, you're like unloading and helping yourself process what you just did. But in the private sector, I don't know, there wasn't much to process. Of course, you can talk about like whatever work that you're doing, but I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, we just upped our numbers by 20%. That's great. I don't care. What are we doing this weekend? Let's plan to go to the beach, And that was really nice too. But yeah, it was, just different things. Although it was really good. Like, I really enjoyed the like sort of like quietness that came with it too, but again, not something I could do in the long term.